Hi guys, Hamster here. Just want to share with you guys a little project I've been working on, and something you guys might be considering doing yourself, but have been reluctant to try. What I got here is my Mossberg shotgun, which I've decided to spruce it up a little bit and give it a two-tone look. Something real simple, not changing the whole color of the gun, but just trying to spruce it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer, get the look I was looking for. So I decided to just Duracoat some items myself and try it at home and see how it works. So I Duracoated the fore-end and the stock. Not a real big project, but I think it makes a dramatic look in the weapon on how it looks. It looks, I think, pretty nice. So when my gun's sitting in a rack with a whole bunch of other guys, mine will stand out. Definitely makes it look a little more attractive. Not that really the plastic parts needed any protection, but I wanted to try out something to see how easy it is to apply this product myself and to just do something to make my firearm look a little nicer. So I bought a Duracoat kit. Actually, I bought a kit. I bought a Duracoat 4 ounce of Duracoat and Magpul Flat Dark Earth was what you see here. And it comes with the necessary hardener for the 4 ounces. Applying the Duracoat was extremely easy. That part is extremely simple. All the work is in the prep, pretty much like anything. You've got to get the part clean, degreased, and the surface needs to have a tooth. Best way to do that is the media blast. If you can't media blast, then you can mechanically, with sandpaper or Scotch-Brite, you can roughen the surface so the Duracoat will adhere very well to it. So the surface has to have a tooth and has to be very clean. Other than that, applying the product was extremely simple. And what I used to apply the product, I wanted to try the Preval sprayer, which is a self-contained sprayer. It has a cylinder of propellant. It pretty much works like a high-quality automotive spray can. It comes with the propellant. It comes with a glass jar, which has measurements in ounces and milliliters on it. Very nice jar. Comes with a pickup tube with a little strainer. Basically insert the pickup tube into the unit, put your product in the jar, and basically screw it on. Well, actually rather simple. I just make it look difficult. Okay, and I was a little concerned if this would spray the Duracoat and how it would look, so I purchased some Duracoat reducer, which they need their own special reducer if you need to thin it down. But this sprayed the Duracoat absolutely beautifully. Once I put the product in here, I basically took a piece of cardboard, sprayed on some cardboard to charge the system so I got all the air out, and to see what kind of pattern I had, and it sprayed fantastic, like a high quality, spray can. I was able to achieve either a wet or dry look based on how fast I moved and how far away from the work I was spraying. Now this is vented. It does have a vent, so you are limited how much you can turn this. You can only get maybe to a 45-degree angle. So when you set your work up to paint it, make sure it's in a location where you can get to it without having to tilt this radically. Otherwise you will spill your product out of here and you may lose suction. So as long as your work is in a situation where you don't have to turn this radically, this thing worked fantastic. Extremely happy with it. I was real curious to see how this would work. I purchased 2 of these to try it out, and to have a spare one in case something malfunctioned. And this is basically a throwaway unit. It's 12 bucks. 12 bucks is what I paid for this from Midway USA. So this allows you to apply the Duracoat without having to thin it, without needing an air compressor, an airbrush, any kind of spray rig. This allowed me to apply the product and do it in a very professional manner. So this Preval sprayer for 12 bucks actually worked fantastic. Like I said, the Duracoat itself, I bought a 4 ounce Duracoat. It comes with the hardener. They recommend mixing the hardener to the Duracoat anywhere from a 12 to a 14 to 1 ratio, maybe 12 to 1 being ideal. Basically, I just used the whole product, made it easy. There's a metal ball in here. When you get your Duracoat, shake it till you hear the metal ball rattle, then shake it for an additional 3 minutes. And basically all I did was took my 1 container of hardener, which is enough for the 4 ounces. It's a ½ ounce of hardener, so don't have to buy extra hardener. Plus the hardener only has a 6-month shelf life, so don't think you're going to stock up on this stuff. I recommend if you're going to do this, buy it as needed. Don't stock it up because it will go bad on you. Once this was shook till I hear the ball, shook an additional 3 minutes, I poured the hardener into here, this container, and then shook it for about 30 more seconds. Then I just poured that right into the sprayer and then proceeded to apply the product right to the parts. Obviously the firearm was completely disassembled and the parts were hung up on wire, so I had easy access to them. And in this I did 4 coats because I really wasn't worried about any tight tolerances here. And these are high wear areas, so I wanted to make sure I had a good amount of product on here so it will last quite a long time. So I put 4 coats on here. I did about 5 to 7 minutes of time between coats to let the solvent flash off, and it did 4 coats and then let it sit overnight, and then I reassembled it. Obviously the Duracoat hardens with time. In 2 to 3 weeks it will actually get the full hardness, so I was very careful putting it back together. If you don't have to put it together right away, let it sit for a few days and then put it back together, and the chances of you screwing it up are very minimal. And then within about 2 to 3 weeks it should be immune to most your cleaning solvents and everything. It should be a pretty hard finish. So it will take a few weeks to get up to full hardness. But if you've been considering trying some of this at home on some small projects, but you don't have a compressor, you don't have an airbrush, you don't have a fancy paint spray rig, the little Preval sprayer for the Duracoat, actually I can't recommend it high enough. It worked fantastic. It laid down a beautiful smooth job. I don't know if I can get this close enough to the camera so you can see the finish on it. I laid it on kind of wet, so I got more of a satin type finish, but you can see here this looks almost like it came from the factory that way. I am extremely happy with the quality of the finish. I got no runs, no drips, no errors. It was very simple. I laid the coats on, let it flash, and then did another coat. And like I said, I did 4 coats on this because there's not real tight tolerances here. I didn't have to worry about putting anything back together. And this is real high wear area here. I got high wear here where my sling goes. Obviously I'm going to wait a little while to put the sling on, to give this more time to harden before I put the sling on it. But extremely happy with the Duracoat product. And like I said, the Preval, I think that's pronounced right, Preval sprayer is a fantastic little spray rig for 12 bucks. It's basically an aerosol can that you control whatever you want to put the contents in. And for Duracoat, I gotta say it works fantastic. Fantastic results. I could not have been happier. I don't think it could have applied it any better than it did. So let me know what you think of the color on the shotgun, and if you've been thinking about trying to Duracoat some small items like that, just remember the prep is all the work. The spraying was the easy part, and you got to get a tooth on the product, and if you're able to media blast it, you'll have fantastic results. So thanks for watching.